Sarah, do I address the board here? You then, let's do, we can work.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay, my concerns are with some digging that was done in the ditches along our property on Saturday. I came home from running errands, found a skid loader in the ditch. There was no one around it. An individual came back, resumed his digging. When I stopped him, he informed me he had county permission to do this. It turns out, you know, after kind of getting upset with him, calling 911, requesting the sheriff come down and get him stopped, he did have permission from a county employee to dig around the corner, which is not where he was digging. He was removing this dirt to take to his property. This is a ditch that my husband and I worked for the last couple of years to reseed, get rid of the horse trails because we overgrazed it. It was finally getting back in shape, and now it's a mess from a private individual taking dirt. There's no markings whatsoever that Iowa 1 call was notified. That bothers me a little bit. And that the county's giving permission to people to remove dirt. My understanding from talking to Kevin Murray is the dirt in the ditch is mine, you guys have an easement to maintain a road. And even if dirt needs to be removed on that corner, the corner post hasn't moved in the 28 years I've lived there. The road has gradually been moving north and west. That's a separate issue, you know, the corner post is not going anywhere, the road could go back where it belongs. But I would like to clarify, you know, what the deal is with this digging and how this can be allowed. And how county employees can give individuals consent to do this.
We talked about it briefly yesterday. We were here, and Ron happened to be here. And we told Ron, and you want to pick it up from?
Yeah, I guess you know I did do some checking. Mike did give permission to somebody to dig dirt out of the ditch. I think he's realized now, you know, it was a bad decision and one that shouldn't have been made. He had, I guess, I talked to Rob after sometime over the weekend. I don't know,
Yeah,
on Saturday.
They did talk Saturday.
And Mike has agreed that we'd go back in, the county go back in and straighten the ditch up and reseed that area.
Well, this ditch is going to need dirt put back in it. They dropped the bottom of it a couple feet. There's 18 to 24 inches at the east end of it where it's going to be a pond now. There's no drainage left. And the north bank of it against the field is almost completely vertical from the way they removed the ditch. And this is going to erode, this is going to be a problem. Now we're going to have to, at my expense as a taxpayer, fix this. And if there is dirt to be removed in our ditches, we will gladly take it back. We have a 30,000-gallon manure tank that's going to be removed from underground from when we used to have pigs. We'll take any dirt we can get our hands on to fill that hole in. And we know the dirt came off our land anyway. If you want it out of there, we'll take it out.
We've been down this path before. I'm very upset that we're even having this conversation. We had some trouble up north in the Shaler area. I thought we understood. We made it very plain that what our position would be, and our discussion had been around county using it for county purposes. This is way beyond that. I mean, it's not right. We made that plain the last time. And I guess I'm pretty angry that we're even having this conversation.
Well, and of course that situation up there, like I said, was county crews removing dirt from the ditch. And I agree that, you know, permission should not have been granted here to do what was done. And I've explained to Mike that, you know, we will not give permission in the future for anybody to dig dirt out of the ditch except adjacent to their own property, and only then with, I mean, certain guidelines too. I guess we don't want somebody just going out and, I mean,
Yeah, it's your dirt, but we have an easement.
Yeah.
And with the easement comes issues like drainage and safety and...
And when we needed to fill in a low spot in our garden last year, we went and skimmed it off the field because, yeah, we know the dirt's eroded out in the ditch, but we can't go tear that out. We didn't think anybody really could. But yet here's somebody insisting that he has the right to continue doing this because county employees told him so. They almost hit my son in our pickup when he tried to block them from driving in and out of the ditch. You're going to have to do some road repairs too, because they literally were driving up and down, straight up and down off the road, down into the ditch. And they tore up a couple 100 feet of it, not just with digging, but with the driving around.
I was out there yesterday, took a picture, just because I saw it was on the agenda, and talked to Mike. And so I did drive down to try to find the place where it was at, and
It's fairly obvious where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tried taking pictures last night, but I discovered my son took my camera to the Ozarks on a school trip. He left yesterday morning.
But again, you know, we've agreed to shape the ditch back up and seed it. And it takes some dirt to be hauled in there, or you know. And I can see where they had, I don't know, it's hard to see in the picture there.
Yeah, up there it looks like they got in a little deeper.
And then you could tell one spot, like she said there, where they were coming out of the ditch, you know, the road really wasn't, surface wasn't in too bad a shape, but there isn't much, there isn't any grass left on the shoulder, I guess I'll put it that way.
It'll erode. That's an area that tends to erode in the winter anytime.
So, but again, you know, I've instructed Mike, and I'll probably put it in written form that, you know, there, you know, be no permission given to people to take dirt out of the ditch. And in cases where the ditch maybe could benefit by dirt being removed, I think there needs to be some guidelines on what they can and can't do. You know, we don't want them cutting the back slopes straight. We don't want them over excavating. I mean, there's, you know, other issues with safety and
I think there's some issues of county liability. I mean, Mike's admitting that this is an area that needed dirt removed. He passed his job off to a private citizen who is liable for anything that could have happened with this.
But if he would have hit something, I mean, like you mentioned, don't know that he did or didn't call one call. If he would have hit anything, it would have been his liability.
And ours.
Yeah. Right, this is the taxpayer concerned with the whole thing.
We would have probably got drug into it, but,
It would have been one of ours.
911 would go back after the excavator.
But we gave permission. That's right. I mean, it would come back to us. We would both be liable. There's no doubt about that.
But it's ultimately the excavator's responsibility to make the one.
It is, but we were going to. You absolutely know that we would. Had there been a problem, we both would have been in the suit. There's no question.
And from talking to Iowa One Call, if there's no white markings around and no colored flags, there was no call. They're verifying whether or not there was a work order that was overlooked, but they're saying there was no call.
Well, sir, I agree with you. This should have never happened. And we had this discussion not too long ago, and I'm sorry myself. I apologize to the county.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have happened.
As well, I guess, you know, on behalf of the board, I apologize and appreciate you bringing it to our attention, and the engineer's office will be responsible for their apology.
There's just some big issues. We're talking it over with Kevin. Is Kevin Murray, violation of your Fifth Amendment constitutional rights. The county's responsible to compensate people when they do this sort of thing. That's not what I'm after. But it seems like a surface little issue that we're making a big deal about. But there's a lot of things to this.
It's not a little issue, and again, we do not approve of this. We apologize.
Okay.
It will not happen again. If it does, there will be serious consequences. And
Okay.
I think it's our responsibility to make it right.
And after they're done moving the dirt and seeding, and you know, if you're unhappy with, you know, be sure to bring it to our attention.
Okay, I will.